Ready?
Yes, sir.
Does she plan on? She's not. Ms. Santos, could you come forward, please? Do you plan on speaking? All right, if we could get started. We'll start with our opening prayer. Our chaplain's not here, so if we could all rise and just have a moment of silence.
Let's have our thoughts from yesterday, 9/11, 3,000 plus Americans, civilians, first responders, as well as those from foreign countries who died yesterday. And of course, all of our soldiers that died subsequently since then.
Thank you. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. Looks like we have a nice group, and we have a list of speakers here. And normally, traditionally, what we've done in the past, and we'll continue with it, is we start off by telling the audience a little about ourselves. I'll start with myself. My name is George Ginder. I'm the chairman of this board. I'm a retired United States Army Master Sergeant with 25 years active duty, a wounded combat veteran with service in the Republic of Vietnam in 1968. Since my retirement, I've been involved with the American Legion. In fact, I'm the commander of Post 7650, and I've also been involved with the American Legion. Recently, more so with the Veterans Parade, and we're going to have a speaker here today representing the parade. Speaking of the parade, and as a board member, we've worked hard to make this year's parade even better than it has been in the past. And the parade is on the 4th of November, so please spread the word. Thank you. If we could start to my left, Andre.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andre McCoy. I am also a major in the United States Army Reserve. Obviously, I was away for a while. I was on active duty at Fort Hood, Texas. In addition to that, I'm currently on active duty on a temporary assignment for the reserves, closing down / deactivating a unit, which is unclassified, out of Staten Island. So I'm thankful that I was able to get scheduled off today. Let me mention to you just a brief thing about myself, but at the same time give you an update, and then you'll hear more about this later. Over the 4th of July weekend, Captain Louis Cavaliere, and he's a Navy retired, he's also in the audience, so I'm thankful that he's here, as well as myself, visited with the oldest man in America. Now, his name is Richard A. Overton, and at 112 years young, at his home in Austin, Texas. The unique thing about Richard Overton is that he is also the oldest American veteran served in World War II, South Pacific Theater. As the U.S. celebrated its birthday of 240 years, the birthplace, Philadelphia, commemorated Richard's birthday and the living history and contributions to our nation's heritage. Louis presented the Golden Challenge coin from the Union League's American Legion Post 405, GAR Post number 1. GAR is Grand Army of the Republic. I presented a Liberty Bell from the Union League's Armed Services Council, but more importantly, and listen to this for a second, the Philadelphia City Council and the Veterans Commission presented him with a proclamation. That's some written notes. He was so moved and thankful for that, plus a cigar and some whiskey. He said he wanted to be buried with that proclamation from the city of Philadelphia. He was very moved by that. I then later found out that he's going to have a family reunion, the Overtons, scheduled for 2020. Hopefully he'll still be here. So it was very interesting that the birthplace of America, also the birthplace of the Army, was able to recognize Richard Overton. And I am very thankful to City Council and to the city to recognize this gentleman. He does require care, so he does have a GoFundMe page, Richard Overton. Just thought I'd note that. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you, Andre.
Hey, thank you, Andre. My name is Carlo Aragoncillo. I'm the director of the Veterans Advisory Commission, here with my commissioners down in room 127, City Hall. On the reserve side, I'm a reserve company commander out of an outfit that's based out of Tobyhanna, Pennsylvania. Recently deployed with them, came back home and took command. Was overseas in Iraq, and I'm here as a director. George?
Okay. Joe?
Good afternoon. My name is Joe Melendez. I am a Vietnam veteran, Army. I served 40 years with the Philadelphia Police Department, retired as a chief. Since my retirement, I have dedicated my time entirely to working with veterans in numerous organizations, whether it be the Commission, the VFW, the DAV, or the American Legion, or the Michael Crescenz Medical Center, or the Saraceni Clinic, or whatever. My goal is to help as many veterans as I can, and I hope you join me in that effort. Thank you very much, and thank you for coming.
And good afternoon. I'm Anthony Boyle. I'm Air Force retired, 35 years with the Air Force. Also 42 years with the Philly PD, currently still with the Philly PD. Very happy to be here and very happy that you could make time for us today.
Okay, hello, Anthony. So that's us, the commissioners. Let's move into the speakers that making testimony today. The first one on the agenda we have is Carlo, and he's going to give us an update on the office.
Sure thing. Hey, thanks, George. So just a quick updates. I told George earlier, I was just only going to be maybe 3 or 4 points. With the office, we're trying to advance the office, and in doing so, made contact with the mayor's Office of Grants. We're having a future meeting. It's going to happen next week. More to follow with that. Once we get that underway, it's going to open up a lot of different things for us. We could do things like apply. Well, we have to get the process down to apply and administer the grants. But for things like outreach, different events, things of that nature, that's my intent, the intent of the commission. Upcoming events that we have lined up in the immediate on 9/21 in partnership with Comcast and Team Red, White, and Blue, Team RWB. The Old Glory Relay just kicked off on 9/11 this past, just yesterday. What that is from Boston all the way to San Diego, the flag is going to be passing through 24 states. They said on around 10,000 pairs of hands is the last estimate. This is the 5th year it's happening, and on the 21st is when it touches Philadelphia. On the 22nd, I see Lou Cavalieri in the audience. His organization, the Four Chaplains, is going to have a memorial event at the Philly Navy Yard on the 22nd, starting at 11 a.m. On the 26th, at 2:30 p.m., Washington's Crossing National Cemetery, we, as a commission, are transporting 13 indigent veterans. There'll be full military honors, motorcade over to the cemetery. The event's actually going to kick off on site at 2:30 p.m. if you can be there. On the 30th is the cutoff, and not to take too much away from Mr. Anthony Murphy, but the Philadelphia Veterans Parade for anyone who's registering, either marching in the parade, sponsoring the parade, or as a VSO for the events afterwards. The cutoff is going to be on the 30th. That is online, and more to follow with that from Anthony. On the 16th, connected again with Comcast in partnership with Toyota, U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and a few other organizations. Hiring Our Heroes is kicking off an event. They're going to have a free career fair for veterans, and wanted to make of note, up to 2 free Flyers tickets for any registered military or spouse. So just keep that in mind. Register early now. It's going to be a free event. You show up, there's going to be hundreds of different vendors looking for veteran-specific and spouse of veterans. And on the 4th is going to be the 4th of November is the Philadelphia Veterans Parade. Does not coincide with an Eagles game. It's a bye week that week. So we're expecting max participation from all Philadelphia veterans. Other than that, that's all I got. George, thank you.
Thank you, Carla. To the speakers, I know when I spoke to you, to most of you, I asked for a 5 to 7 minute time frame. We just had another person wanting to speak, and we have 7 speakers, so if you could hold it closer to 5 minutes, we'll be able to get that 8th person in there, okay? Thank you. So if Lou Cavallari would come to the desk, please. Lou Cavallari is a captain, United States Navy retired, and he's with the Chapel of 4 Chaplains. Welcome. Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
I
Great.
hear you.
Well, thank you for hearing me out, and I want to say, George, you did a great job with the invocation, but the next time you need a chaplain, just let me know.
Okay, thank you.
The Chapel of 4 Chaplains is in the Navy Yard in Philadelphia. We're in our 50th year of servicing veterans since 1951. Actually, it's longer than that, 58th year. And we do a lot of work with veterans, and Andre already alluded to one where I was with him when we were in Austin, Texas, of all places, to deliver the certificate to the oldest veteran in the United States, Richard Overton. And to deliver the certificate from the city council here was really an awesome thing, and he really felt that, this Mr. Overton, and so did his family. And we welcome opportunities to do that. If you know, the Chapel of 4 Chaplains is involved in 4 things. We have a Legion of Honor program where we recognize ordinary people who do extraordinary things. This is to remember the selfless service of the 4 chaplains who gave up their life jackets on a sinking ship. And I think everybody knows that story. We also have a scholarship program, and everybody here should hear me out on this because we give out cash prizes to students from 5th grade through high school. And anyone is eligible for that in that age group. And the deadline for that is December 1st. So kids just went back to school. They should gear up for getting an essay into us on the theme of selfless service. All of the information is on our website. We also have a emergency chaplains corps where we can get chaplains practically anywhere in the country to minister to somebody in need. In addition to that, we train first responder chaplains, police chaplains, fire department, whatever. We train those individuals, and that training program has really taken off. We do that on a national basis now. And finally, we have our outreach to veterans. This deals with veterans who are in need, homelessness, joblessness, etc. And that, I have to tell you, has been our biggest and probably our most challenging concern right now. We are getting too many opportunities than we really want to ask for. Finally, it's been mentioned about our open house. Carlo mentioned that. On September 22nd, you're all invited. We started at 11 o'clock with a patriotic service. Hopefully the chapel will be ready. We're in the process of painting the chapel right now. Officer Kelly's been a help there. And the theme this year, we have several Vietnam vets here in this group. This is the 50th anniversary of the Tet Offensive. And we are going to shed light on the Tet Offensive and how important that was. And all I want to say about the Tet Offensive is that if either of you two gentlemen were there, God bless you, because it was a really tough time. And I think we need to take the time out at our open house. We start out at 11 o'clock with this service where we will recognize the Tet Offensive and then move on from there. The service is followed by a huge picnic. And since we are in South Philadelphia, we have all the legendary names from all the vendors in South Philly who are going to be coming, offering you the best in cheesesteaks, pretzels, and water ice. And it's all free. Thank you for this opportunity. The Chapel of 4 Chaplains is here to serve veterans. That is our primary focus and outlook right now. And if anybody here in this room and on the panel needs any assistance in that, please give us a call. Thank you very much.
Lou, before you leave, Could you tell us where you're located at, and your website, and a Facebook, and ways to get in touch with you?
Yes, we are located in the Navy Yard. The Navy Yard had a chapel when it was a Navy base. That chapel is now the Chapel of Four Chaplains, 1201 Constitution Avenue, right behind the Marine Barracks. Can't miss us. Our website is very easy, fourchaplains.org. That's FOUR chaplains.org. And anybody can get hold of me. The phone number down there is 215-218-1943, 1943 being the year the Dorchester was sunk and the Four Chaplains went down.
My understanding is that you also are looking for volunteers, as well as it's always fundraising time. And in case you're challenged with directions and lists, my understanding is it's right at the end of Broad Street, right out the back of this building, one road.
Thank you. And I want to say one more thing since you reminded me of that, Andre. This Sunday, the Phillies are having a baseball game against the Florida Marlins at 1:30. They are honoring POW MIAs. And during the course of that event, just before game time, they are calling me and my staff out onto the field, and the Phillies Foundation is giving us a grant, and we're very happy about that. And they're giving us a grant. They told me we're getting this grant for two reasons. One is because of our veterans outreach, and the other is because of our training of chaplains. So there you go. And we're very, very proud of that. This Phillies Foundation is giving us a very nice grant. Thank you.
Any other questions? Captain Cavallari, thank you for your testimony, thank you for your service, and thank you for what you're doing at the chapel.
Thank you, and I'll see you there. We want to honor you with the Tet Offensive memory.
Right. Our next speaker is Anthony Murphy. Anthony is the board president of the Philadelphia Veterans Parade. We're all interested in the parade this year.
I didn't get a mask box, sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Anthony Murphy. I'm president of the Philadelphia Veterans Parade Organization. It's an opportunity, and I'm glad to have the opportunity to be here to speak to you today. Philadelphia Veterans Parade is the first Sunday in November, which is November 4th. It will take the same route that it's taken the last few years. We'll stage first at 16th and JFK, move down JFK onto Market, straight down Market Street to 5th Street. At 5th Street, from 5th to 3rd, we also host a Veterans Festival. Now, last year the theme of the festival was Veterans Helping Veterans. This year our theme is Veterans Doing the Best for Veterans. Not just helping, but doing the best. So at the festival, we'll have several VSOs there because we want to make sure that we get information to families of vets as well as to veterans so that they can obtain the services they need. I personally don't believe we should have a homeless vet, and I believe our services are supposed to be able to take care of them. We wrote a check, and that check now should be redeemed. So we're also going to have some other activities there where they have dogs for vets to pet to address some of the trauma that they've experienced, and so we're going to have that as a part of the festival as well. But the last time I was here, I mentioned activities that we would have for men, and I was asked by a member of your commission, will there be anything for women? So, please give me a moment here. We have confirmed dry cuts for veterans, female veterans' hair, and that's confirmed, and a lady who's confirmed who will do a wellness. She's a nutritionist that will talk to female vets about nutrition. Now, there are other things we're working on, but as of now, those two things are in place. This year, we have a challenge, and I'm going to reach out and ask you to help me with the challenge. The challenge we have is veterans organizations and vets feel that because this is an election year, that it'll be more politicians. Veterans doing the best for veterans, I'm going to ask this commission to reach out to your veterans associations and to our veterans community and say to them, this parade is about us. It's about us. It's not about who's running for office. It's not about who wants to be elected. It's about those of us who have served and that sacrifice we made and us being honored. Every year, we should be honored. Now, I know you told me 5 minutes, I did hear that. So if I run over, please give me some lenience. Because I think it's important that the veteran organizations recognize that if you don't show up, then you're saying to the politicians, it's your parade. And it's not. And I need to stress that to you because I know between all of us, we can do that outreach to that organization, to those organizations. And I'm coming. I'm going to stop in a minute. Now, I see my friend. See, so the theme here is bring more people. So also working with Comcast. Comcast is sending invites to area high schools, not necessarily directly in Philadelphia, to come and be a part of the parade so that they will not only bring a band and music, they will bring parents to come and observe. I actually want to build a population along this parade route that's second to none. I know the Mummers is going to be tough to beat, but we got a few years we can beat the Mummers. We always bring people out like that. I want people looking forward to the Philadelphia Veterans Parade. It's about veterans doing the best for veterans. It's about Philadelphia, but it's also about the surrounding area because we're not turning people away because they're not from Philadelphia. You can be from Jersey, you can be from New York, you're a veterans group, you're supporting a veterans agency, come. The other thrust is from the VSO side and from the festival side is to make sure that families of veterans learn about the services that they can give that information to the vets that we don't reach. There's a large veterans population here in this area, all across this state, and we need to reach out to them. Thank you, sir. Questions?
I'd just like to emphasize or underscore what you've said, and that is that veterans, when we serve, as you know, it's a blank check that could equal our life. That's what sacrifice is, and we do that for other veterans, and we do that for the American people, and we serve the Constitution of the United States.
Correct.
So we are not a bipartisan group, we are a nonpartisan group. We support our government, regardless of who's in office. So thank you for reminding us this, and this parade is our Veterans Parade from the birthplace of the whole country.
One other thing, I know someone wants to would ask me, what time does the Veteran Parade start? Well, we're going to be launching at 12, and the festival will launch at 12:30. The reason I wanted to move the festival start time back some is to give folks who are in the parade a time to get in and make sure they can enjoy the festival. This year in the festival, there will be no big screen TV, simply because there's no Eagles game. How do you like that? I found that it's amazing, but we always seem to be concerned about the Eagles, so it's a bye week, so they won't be playing, and we won't have TV there, but I'm sure it'll be well-spent festival because we do plan on having some festivities on stage and recognizing some of the bands that come through, and also a ceremony where a wreath will be donated from Reefs Across America, and that service will take place, and also a tree that's going to be planted at one of the VSO organizations will be a part of activities that take place on the festival stage. So it's going to be, I'm looking at this year being better than last year, and I thought last year was our best, but I say this is going to be the best parade in the nation, so that means this is just the beginning.
Tony, I just have a comment to make regarding the parade. I know that everybody complains nowadays about membership, lack of membership, whether the DAV, American Legion, or VFW. Last year, my VFW post, we took a table out there after the parade, and after we marched in the parade, we went and manned the table. And we were able to recruit 22 possible new members. And we had a whole lot more people that were interested, show interest, but they live other parts of the city or out of the city, and we're going to help them. But I urge anybody here, if you're trying to recruit members for your organization, that's a good place to be. Thank you for everything you do. We appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. In reference to VFWs, too, so please reach out to the VFWs and make sure that they start pushing their applications through. Because last year we had active military, we had VFWs, we had Vietnam veterans, we had American Legions, and all things considered, our parade showed the activity of veterans across this country and across the spectrum. Because the VSOs came out, we had the replica of the USS New Jersey, the first ship I sailed on. So it was really something to see, and it's something to be a part of. And I only get to see the parade from an operational standpoint, but when we go back to the website and look at the Philadelphia Veterans Parade Inc. at the website and take a look at some of those pictures, it's amazing. Even our motorcycles with Seamus McCafferty all dressed in red, white, and blue, leading those veterans. See, our motorcycles are veterans, and this year, the veterans will not be a commercial for the parade. They're going to be filmed and shown in the parade as the first element after the national anthem. Yes.
Thank you, Anthony.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you.
The commission will participate in the parade, and we're spreading the word. But you make sure you touch base with Joe and Larry back there. They can help you out an awful lot.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Sam Waltzer. He's the project manager at Comcast NBC Universal with the Military and Veterans Affairs Department. Welcome, Sam.
Thank you very much. So my name is Sam Waltzer with the Military and Veteran Affairs team at Comcast NBC Universal. And first I want to start by saying thank you to the Philadelphia Veterans Advisory Commission, to all of its members and the Philadelphia City government for allowing me to speak and represent Comcast NBC Universal here today. It is an honor to be here, and I thank you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what our MVA, Military and Veteran Affairs team does, and then I want to touch a little bit on our community impact with our Internet Essentials program. So Comcast NBC Universal has a Military and Veteran Affairs team of full-time employees, which was created about 3 years ago, and it's led by Senior Vice President of Military and Veteran Affairs and Army retired Brigadier General Carol Eggert, and we're based right here at the Comcast Center in Philadelphia. Our team has many roles. We work across the entire company and with external partners, including governments and private and nonprofit organizations. We assist with hiring, onboarding, training, and developing military talent. We have a close relationship with our talent acquisition folks, and we empower them to understand military applicants and the importance of military hiring. So, for example, when they receive a resume from a military community member and they don't understand what does it mean to be a captain in the Army versus a captain in the Navy, we're there to help them understand that and empower them to work with military members. Our MVA team assisted in meeting the 10,000 military community hire goal that we set between 2015 and 2017, and we met and exceeded that goal as an organization at Comcast NBC Universal. We assist with internal recognition of the military community. So for example, on our internal corporate Saluting Our Military Community page, we recognize the service of our employees as well as their families and friends and supporters. So pictures and testimonies about what they did in military service that they'd like to share with our organization. We help to develop our military community employees. We developed a company program called the Military Influencer Leader Development Conference. This brings military employees from around the company together to hear from top company leadership, to network, to develop their leadership skills, and the knowledge that they can bring back to their local company locations and their Veterans Network teams. We have a close relationship with our Veterans Network, which is our employee resource group. We abbreviate it as VetNet, and we assist in events that VetNet participates in. This includes funding, including the annual Dragon Boat Race here in Philadelphia every June, and the Philadelphia Veterans Parade, of course, here every November. We help in the development and implementation of military offer programs for customers. We help to recommend military customer-friendly policies and programs. For example, how to work with military customers that are deploying and want to manage their home cable, telephone, internet service. We help build an external communication strategy that creates Comcast NBC Universal military brand recognition, and our team members are thought leaders and serve on panels discussing military community all around the country. As far as corporate recognition we help with, most notably, we played a role in Comcast NBC Universal's receipt of the ESGR Freedom Award in 2017, and we're also very grateful to the Philadelphia City Council for their resolution earlier this year recognizing our achievement in earning that award. We participate in extensive philanthropic partnerships and community engagement, including serving as the Above and Beyond sponsor of the Philadelphia Veterans Parade. Thank you to Anthony for mentioning that. We're a major sponsor of the Army 10 Miler in Washington, D.C. We sponsor the Psych Armor Employers School. We're a national sponsor of Bunker Labs. the presenting sponsor of Liberty USO's Career Transition Program. We sponsor the Travis Manion Foundation, the Philly Pop Salute Series, Student Veterans of America, Team Red, White, and Blue Old Glory Relay, which was mentioned earlier, and many others. And also, in addition to the October 16th career fair with HOH, Hiring Our Heroes, with the Flyers, on October 15th, U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Hiring Our Heroes, in partnership with Comcast NBC Universal, is going to host a program called A Call to Lead, Creating Lasting Impact for Philadelphia's Military Community. This half-day event intends to highlight Philadelphia's military community and its value to the region, provide best practices for businesses to engage the military community, and move from military-friendly to military-ready, and highlight pathways to career fields through education and innovative training programs to build the greater Philadelphia workforce. And registration is open on the HOH website. And now I'd just like to touch briefly on our Internet Essentials program from Comcast. So it's the nation's largest and most comprehensive high-speed internet adoption program for low-income households. The program has connected substantially more low-income Americans to the internet than all other similar programs combined. And it's been designed as a comprehensive wraparound program to address each of the major barriers to broadband adoption. It provides low-cost internet service for $9.95 a month, the option to purchase an internet-ready computer for less than $150, and access to free digital literacy training in print, online, and in person. And in 7 years, it's connected more than 6 million low-income Americans and 1.5 million households to high-speed internet service at home. And we've had 11 expansions of eligibility, most recently, expanding to low-income veterans. So low-income veterans are now eligible in select markets for the Internet Essentials program, so help them get connected to the internet at a reduced rate. And so we've increased speeds 4 times in 6 years. We've added free in-home Wi-Fi and extended access to Xfinity Wi-Fi hotspots. And we've made extensive investment in Internet Essentials, partnering with communities, schools, libraries, school districts, to help families across the digital divide. And specifically, the highlight this year is the expansion to our low-income veteran population. So this year, we reached a milestone for Internet Essentials. Since its launch, we've connected more than 6 million individuals, and we are proud to expand eligibility for low-income veterans to Internet Essentials across our footprint. This is the second largest expansion in the history of the program, with 1 million low-income veterans now being eligible for low-cost, high-speed internet, and affordable computer and free digital skills training. So at Comcast, a commitment to veterans and support for the military community is one of our core values. In 2017, we surpassed our goal of hiring 10,000 veterans, National Guard and Reserve members, as well as military spouses across our company. And we're always looking for ways to show our support beyond our walls. Since 2010, we've actually hired more than 15,000 veterans, National Guard, Reserve members, and military spouses. And we want to do even more to help low-income veterans and their families better navigate the complexities of daily life as civilians. So through our Internet Essentials program, we have come to learn how powerful connection can be for families in need, and we're proud to expand to low-income veterans. And Department of Veterans Affairs estimates that fewer than 70% of low-income veterans have internet access, and about 60% have a computer. So what this expansion does is it allows those who have served our country to connect with the resources they need to manage the issues they may face, as well as find new opportunities that can change their lives. So we're proud to present this expansion to our military and veteran community. So on behalf of Comcast NBC Universal, I just want to say thank you again for your time. And for anybody interested, I do have additional information on the Internet Essentials program expansion. I do, yes, absolutely. I'd be glad to share afterward.
How would a person find out about all these resources that you're offering?
So as far as our military resources with Comcast NBC Universal, it's on the website comcastcareers.com/military. Or just Google Comcast Military. Also, take a look at our Senior Vice President of Military and Veteran Affairs, retired Brigadier General Carol Eggert. She's there on the website as well. So, and then for Internet Essentials, if you just Google the Internet Essentials, it'll come right up as far as the information about the program and information on our expansion to assist low-income veterans with their ability to access the internet for jobs and schooling and any sort of needs that they may have.
Thank you, Sam. That was very informative.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. Colonel Tim Williams, you're next. Colonel Williams is a retired United States Army colonel. He's the executive director with the Veteran Multi-Service Center right here in Philadelphia. These guys do a great job down there on 4th Street.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commission members. I appreciate the opportunity to briefly address you about the services and support to veterans that the Veterans Multi-Service Center provides. First, I have 2 team members here with me today. I'd like to introduce them to the Commission. Our Deputy Executive Director of Regional of Services, Charlie Forche, and our new Women's Veterans Center Program Coordinator, Marie DeLarno. Okay, since 1980, the Veterans Multi-Service Center has been proud to serve our veteran community. Our operations span Pennsylvania, Delaware, and southern New Jersey, where we offer veterans and their families comprehensive services, from benefits and entitlement analysis, temporary and permanent housing, to job training and employment placement. We also operate a thrift store in Northeast Philadelphia and host a Women's Veterans Center in Ode City. We serve veterans in 29 counties across 3 states in our 11 facilities, where we serve over 6,000 veterans annually, and we're still growing in providing those services. For example, we have embarked on an innovative housing development project with Orange Brothers and Mosaic Development to build a veterans preference community at the original Edison High School, which, as most know, has been commemorated as the nation's high school with the most casualties during the Vietnam War, 64 lives in total. This project will feature 66 veteran preference units and a multitude of services on site. But most importantly, it will honor those who sacrificed all by providing veterans in need a place to call home. If you're a veteran or know of a veteran, I hope that you will look us up and see how we are best able to serve you. We're all about matching a need with a resource, whether we provide that internally or with partnership with our partners, matching a need with a resource. We can be reached at 215-923-2600, and our website is Victor Mike Center, BMCENTER.org. Thank you very much.
Tim, I understand you're located, I'm sorry, Colonel, you're located right underneath the bridge?
Yes, we're located at our Philadelphia headquarters. Our headquarters is located at 4th and Florence Street, 4th and Flores Streets, at the foot of the Ben Franklin in Ode City.
All right, so you're close, you're local, easy access, I mean, you're the go-to person.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
You're close, you have easy access, you're the go-to people for veterans questions.
Thank you. We are about matching a need with a resource and meeting a veteran at their point of need. And again, whether we provide that resource or we refer out to our partner organizations, we're all about cooperation and collaboration in providing, and again, matching a need with a resource.
Tim, let me ask you, the 66 units that you're talking about, what's
Yeah.
the anticipated opening date? I mean, when
The
will this
opening
actually-
date, where construction should be completed, and we should start lease up on 1 June 2019. So we're in construction phase. We're head down in construction phase right now. So starting in June, we should be leasing up the 66 units.
Very nice, okay.
Yeah, it's been a long time in coming. I mean, we've been working this since 2012. So putting the financing together was quite the challenge. But it's a tax credit development, and we're very proud to have the support of the state of Pennsylvania and the city of Philadelphia.
Thank you, Colonel.
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Is Jason DePietro here? Chris Malaro? Chris is the CEO of NeuroFlow, and he's going to tell us about this organization and how they assist veterans.
Thank you, sir. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
the time.
Welcome.
So my name is Chris Malero, and I'm actually, I come here, sorry, start the timer so I don't go over time. So I come here really representing, I'm a post 9/11 Army veteran, served for 5.5 years, transitioned off of active service to move back to Philly to go to business school. And I'm here to represent not necessarily my company, but the other 63,801 veterans that are residents of Philadelphia. According to a national average, approximately a third would have been affected either currently or at some point in their life with a behavioral health issue. When I was with the behavioral health issue, so depression, anxiety, PTSD, of course. I served as a platoon leader, deployed to Iraq, and a number of my soldiers could have benefited from therapy. One tragically died by suicide 2 months after coming home. You know, that's a leadership failure. I view that on my part. I could have done more. Platoon sergeant could have done more. As an Army, we could have done more. Fortunately, he is not an exception. He's more of a rule. We've all heard the statistic, 20 veterans a day die by suicide. That's a real number. What we know is that that number doesn't just affect veterans, it affects millions of Americans a year. Obviously, being this is a veteran commission, I come here with the veteran lens on. There's good news to this story in that the medical community has started to prioritize mental health in the same capacity as we would think of physical health. And so there's a number of different evidence-based treatments that truly work, that are effective in helping you cope with anxiety or depression and PTSD, so it's not a life sentence when you struggle with one of these mental health issues. That's great news. The Philadelphia VA is leading the front in a lot of research. If you look at the numbers, 16 of that 20 veterans a day that die by suicide never actually get treatment at the VA. So that means that a majority of the veterans that are struggling with this aren't getting the treatment that they need. And so that's the challenge, is how do we get access to care to our veterans? And now as an entrepreneur, a small business owner, Neuroflow is based right here at 1635 Market Street. I founded the company when I was at business school out of a passion and a personal mission to help address this issue. We're proud to be based in Philadelphia and to be helping address this problem. And I come here as a resource to the commission, to the city council, to the city of Philadelphia, wanting to collaborate with you, with other industry partners, with researchers in the area to help address this. As veterans, we've led the way a number of different ways for this country in uniform. And I think that it's only right that we continue to lead the way, finding solutions for mental health, both for our brothers and sisters that are veterans, but for the general population as well. So I've, I guess, two asks for this. One, Carlo, thank you for the introduction, for the invite today. It's really an honor to be here. And there's a lot of good things that Philadelphia is doing for veterans. I mean, from a small business standpoint, you look at Bunker Labs, a gentleman from Comcast had a slew of different things. I mean, these are truly valuable things that the city of Philadelphia and this region are doing for veterans. West Point Society of Philadelphia, the Wharton Veterans. I'm a member of a small organization called Action Tank, which is comprised of post 9/11 veterans that want to do more for their community. And so, I view that as there's already a precedent for veterans and for the city helping veterans. I think we could take that one step further and invest resources, time, and at least move the conversation towards addressing mental health. We owe it to our veterans, we owe it to our community, and I appreciate the time. I'll take any questions.
Yeah, could you tell me a little bit about what Neuroflow actually, like what service do they provide or what product?
Absolutely. So Neuroflow is a software company that deploys machine learning algorithms, in large part developed in partnership with University of Pennsylvania and now Drexel University as well. Going back to those evidence-based therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, we know that they work well. The challenge is they work only when the patient is engaged with that process and is compliant with those exercises. So it would be akin to if you were seeing a physical therapist for a physical injury, that physical therapist would ask you to do stretches and exercises in between your clinical sessions. If you don't, you're not going to get better as effectively. It's the same principle just applied to mental health. And so we are a digital platform to increase that engagement, increase that compliance, and bring behavioral health resources to those patients. So a big statistic is 67, about 2/3 of patients that are diagnosed with a mental health issue will never actually get treatment from a specialist. The highest prescriber of antidepressants are primary care providers by a long shot. So the question is, how do we keep them involved, engaged in their mental health, and bring these resources to them where they're getting treatment?
So when you got out, what was your rank?
I was a captain in the U.S. Army.
Did you say captain?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, Captain, the software program, does that operate more like a game, or is it a series of questions, or is it...
So it's a combination. So there's it's assessments, tracking, and tools for medical professionals to assign and to deliver to their patients in a remote setting. So you don't have to go in the clinic to actually get this treatment. And we reward points and gamify the system to increase the engagement.
Right, can this be downloaded to your cell phone? Is this online?
Yeah, so it's both web-based, any web browser, and there's Apple and Android apps as well.
All right.
No cost to the patients.
So this is available to the general public and to veterans specifically?
It's available to the general public in the sense that if you're being seen by a medical provider, you can use it. If you have to be invited by your provider to download it, it's considered a clinical tool.
All right. Well, thanks, Captain.
Thank you, sir.
If you could get your contact information to Carlo, maybe we can get this in a resource book for medical professionals.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Our next speaker is Kathy Bennett Santos. Pardon?
I'm just introducing who's going to be sitting here with me, for the record.
Yeah.
This is Comrade James Clemens from BFW Post 6700. It's the Robert Tresville Post. Just want to introduce for the record.
Now, is it two speakers or just one?
It's going to be one unless there's a question that I can't
Okay.
answer, and I think he would be more specific to answering more local activity. I did prepare a written statement at the instructions of the order. Thank you so much, because I think I'm going to flow a lot more cohesively for this moment. I'm representing myself as the NAACP Philadelphia Committee Chair to the Philadelphia Veterans Advisory Commission. Good afternoon, Committee Chair, Mr. Oregoncillo, members of City Council and President Councilman Clark, and all veterans of any war who have fought for our country, and a special slow salute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in dying of other loss or quality of life in service to our country, and thank you all for your service. My fellow comrades, I come to you today with profound memories of the threat our country has faced in light of the 9/11 attacks on our country. 17 years ago and one day it has been since that threat became personal, that we as defenders of peace and our nation's security could not save this country for what is now a part of our nation's history that we will never forget. These were American citizens who lost their lives in our country. It is this history that I recognize the need for addressing this body in this manner. One of intelligence and experience, having served in the United States Army and a proud, honorably discharged Gulf War era veteran. It is the liberties which I now stand before you to defend within this country as a natural-born United States citizen and resident of the fourth largest city in the country, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I preface my statement with how I began, and for me and for most military enlistees. As a consequence of economics, educational aspirations, or other alternatives to independent sustainability, we have the greatest opportunity in serving our country. Our lives are changed on so many levels. The economic opportunity afforded me for raising my son as a single parent, as being left for dead by an abusive husband at a very young age. The military option allowed me to pursue my law degree and see a different outcome at that point in my life. It is that opportunity that I now am able to achieve several degrees and to support my son in his effort to have an MBA and some other levels of success in his life. However, it is the transition from military service to my permanent home of record, Philadelphia, that my life has made a significant turn. I suffered sexual assault in the military, which altered my path, but I remained diligent in moving my life forward in a positive way. The challenges that I have faced have been tremendous in seeking health care and quality health care and support for sexual assault. It is the NAACP which provided me that outlet that led me to congressional testimony in 1993, which is now in the Library of Congress. The transitional challenges that I have endured over the past 25 years have not been withstanding major health crises and threats for speaking out on my experience with sexual assault. Many of those challenges have been presented to City Council members here in these halls of justice, but to no avail. Has there been any respect for me or the issues that I have raised as the founder of the first grassroots platform to address sexual assault in this country? The National Alliance of Women Veterans Incorporated became the foundational platform and blueprint for many which model the work which is done here in Philadelphia and across this country for the past 15 years. We have come a long way in this city, in this nation, and across the globe on human rights, women's rights, violence against women, sexual assault, sexual harassment, and some injustices where women have been the victim. We are in a different place today. I would especially like to thank Philadelphia City Council President Clark for being the impetus for this body to function, and I'm speaking about this commission. I have participated in every platform since my transition in 1992, and it's under this leadership that these halls have been open to every veteran for services in room 127, and we owe him that thanks. Why? Because there is a need for every functioning body of government to have a veteran-specific agenda for legislating quality of life policy. It is vitally important for the rules and laws which govern veterans in our military community to be transparent and have a qualified entity which is knowledgeable over the ever-changing legislation and policy agendas that dictate what our quality of life should be, and an openness without bias to hear from the veterans their specific needs for support, despite their ethnicity, their race, nationality, or spiritual beliefs. This is where we are on the issues. These various distinctions are in the way of progress. A veteran is a veteran, and we leave no veteran behind. It is imperative that we set a standard that is respectful of each other as comrades in arms and fellow soldiers, corpsmen, airmen, and guardsmen who have fought together, trained together, learned the complex processes of defending our country, foreign and abroad. That was our oath. I would challenge the leadership and decision makers of this body to take seriously the issues that we face as veterans and as a nation. We are not political footballs as veterans to be kicked around and mistreated because of our political affiliation. Neither are we commodities to be sold from one program to another, experimented like guinea pigs, or to be sacrificed for wealth or other money-making schemes, for clinical trials, pharmaceuticals, whichever cause adverse conditions affecting the liver and the kidney that go unnoticed until they turn to cancer, and people are dying every day in this VA hospital for this reason. Today, we are in a quagmire of chaos and confusion as veterans. The need for a strong legislative arm and a grassroots effort to address the many needs of veterans are paramount for saving lives and supporting a quality of life. We have advocated as veterans for the most important issues facing our lives today, but they fall on deaf ears. The continuous fight for equality and quality of care is compromised by non-veterans and untrained professionals and the competitive contractor environment which attract everybody and anybody. But they who have good intentions are missing many qualities for ensuring their abilities to provide a quality service. Many do not recognize what the needs are, and when they do recognize the needs, they fail to explore and include those who are more trained and qualified to do so. There needs to be some order. My recommendation for the most priority issues towards some order and transparent process is to trust the process that we're in. And I thank you all for the effort that you're placing in this body under Mr. Caragoncello, working with this council. I believe that we have the opportunity to move past the historical challenges in a more innovative and effective leadership guided by a parallel advocacy and legislative agenda that is of inclusion and unbiased. Rules must be set. What are these rules? There must be policy and procedures within the Philadelphia Home Rule Charter, which recognizes existing policy at the state level and at the national level and on every issue relating to veterans. We must cease from the open path by non-residents of Philadelphia who assume some authority and right to decision-making which do not impact the veterans of this city. My testimonies of the past year have been to raise the awareness of Pennsylvania Senate Bill 255, where Philadelphia County was omitted from the governor's report on Pennsylvania veterans. The omission compares to the Voting Rights Act, which takes away the civil rights and the liberties from a population of people of color. Much like we're experiencing today across this country, we shall not be moved. As veterans, as Philadelphians, and as a community of African Americans who are also veterans residing in the city of Philadelphia, this demographic will be included in every consideration for assessing funding for their nonprofits, for equal access to health care and a process for grievance and advocacy being represented within the chairmanship of my role as the NAACP Philadelphia Committee Chair. We are honored to present the issues that are inclusive and apply to all veterans. Veterans have no color. We are all in this together. For saving those who cannot save themselves, we must stand against the Department of Veterans Affairs and other lobbyists and seekers of veteran funding for money which renders our community no benefit. We must seek for fair distribution in the funding packages presently being appropriated $326 million. We must seek a transparent process as to accessing funding where the Philadelphia Multi-Service and Education Center has dominated over $30 million post-stimulus, where they have surreptitiously received grants mandated for a collaborative inclusion process to serving veterans. I have worked with the Pennsylvania Senate Veterans Committee under the leadership of Senator Lisa Baker on the misappropriation and diversion of veteran funding dollars managed by a few with no authority, transparency, or accountability. Throughout the state of Pennsylvania, the aggressive authority assumed by a few have blood on their hands for how they have denied access to funding, which will broaden the platform of support and presence in Philadelphia County. We must do better. We must not allow anyone to dictate policy who have evil intentions, gain influence and power, and to execute plans of hurt and harm to those who speak out against the challenges they are experiencing. Every time I come to this body, it costs me something. My electric was shut off the day after I testified last time. I spoke on these issues, the serious incidences that I attribute to someone trying to send me a message. But I am here to stand on the issues relating to veterans I began 25 years ago in this city. I am a warrior for those who deserve to have help and support, and they must not be denied. I have received death threats and other acts of intimidation and retaliation after speaking before this body, having been denied every benefit I am entitled contractually through my veteran status. I have been denied opportunity to succeed on every level or endeavor that I seek for economic empowerment. Veterans who are the sole supporters and have the opportunity to support their families and create wealth for their generational promise. I have been denied for 3 generations, having to address the same body who refused to respect me or the support that I do. Now, 25 years later, I have been denied my rights and my privilege to own a home using my GI Bill, use my educational benefits under the Chapter 30 program, and at present, Voc Rehab to honor my educational pursuits. And more important, to support my aging mother, who too is harassed as a consequence of me speaking out in the work that I'm doing, and my determination to execute and exercising my freedom of speech. So besides fighting for 25 years for the quality of life, for my utilities and the justices around my quality of life, freedom and peace to exist, I have been tormented by those who claim to be leaders, but distract to cause citizens not to have equal access. I will not be removed or intimidated as a citizen of this country. I'm a veteran among under 22 million veterans in this country, and a disabled veteran with protections under the Disabled American with Disabilities Act, and as a veteran under Title 38 with specific rights and benefits legislated by law under Congress and other legislative bodies. I am not at war with America, my comrades, or other entity for any reason. I stand for justice, human rights, equal rights, and quality of life under the Constitution, which grants me life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I participate in the United States Global Women Peacekeeping Mission in support of United Nations Resolution 3235, which supports the empowerment of women, and in the human rights and protection against the abuse of women experienced across this globe. In Uganda and Ghana, Sierra Leone, where women are mutilated and abused and are not given the same freedoms as we are. In America, that we are able to speak out, and in some cases, murdered. We are not barbarians, neither are we uncivilized for not having empathy and compassion for other human beings. Our humanity should speak louder than our personal emotions, biases, and lack of diversity. We are global in this effort for equality. I conclude that this body should reflect the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. We are better than what we have portrayed. In the treatment towards me personally and the Philadelphia veterans of color, we are not giving in to any aggressive agenda which have intentions to otherwise omit us or deny us our rights and our privileges as veterans or as a community. Thank you to each one of you. You all are working in your own vein, but we have to be united and tolerant of one another's differences. Yes, you are working hard, and I do believe that you're putting your best effort. But each time that I come down here and my name is left off the list, I'm here. I've been coming here for 25 years. I've not had one official response on my intelligent articulation to this body. We are better than that as veterans. Everything we've ever done was through regulations. We have to do better. And I hope you heard me this time. And I thank you for listening.
Thank you, Kathy. Any questions for Kathy? Well, this will conclude our meeting. We'd like to thank everyone, the speakers, the audience for attending today.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to I noticed that there's some other folks in the room. If we could just recognize them. We got Larry here and Mr. Eastman. It's good to see you, Larry. Larry, what group are you with today? Because you're with so many veterans groups. I think I saw your picture on a national website, and it's Larry Holmes from Philadelphia. So, yeah. And then Mr. Eastman, you're retired, but I know you work a lot with a lot of veterans, so that's welcome, of course. We talked to him. And the other gentleman, you, sir? Yep. Can't hear. Can you just go up to the mic real quick?
Randy Duque with the Philadelphia Commission on Human Relations, Deputy Director for the Community Relations Division and Army veteran.
Oh, that's great. All right, thanks. And young lady and gentleman?
Charlie Ellison with the full-time side of the Travis Mackey Foundation, and on the Army side, I'm on the 14th Infantry.
Thanks. Yeah, Tom Mannion's a great guy.
Are you finished?
Excellent, thanks.
Okay. Well, we hope this has been informative for the veteran community today. Our next meeting will take place on December 12th, right here in these quarters. Travel safely. Thank you.
Thank you.